Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Introvert Dating Success Show, courtesy of introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm your host, Harry Wilmington. This is the show, and that is the website where you can go to learn how to date as your authentic introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Speaking of which, on today's show, we're going to be answering a question from a guy who wants to know what he needs to do. He's met this girl. They've been getting along great. He's been doing things right. And he's been able to kind of be more patient than he was in the past, but he's starting to feel some of his old ways wanting to slip in. And he's making himself a little bit more available than he probably needs to. He's starting to text back more frequently than he should. And he can see himself going down the slope, but he wants to know how he can stop himself from doing it, because he can see himself about to make some big mistakes. And he knows this, but he just can't seem to help himself. And this is a situation that, especially if you're starting to get better at dating, this is the thing that can happen where you start doing better, so you're making some progress, and then once you get comfortable, you start to slip back into old ways. And if you slip too far, you could ultimately end up losing the girl. So we're going to talk today about how you can combat this. As always, for more of these shows, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. Go there now for this show. You can go on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, and you become a patron at patreon.com/introvertdatingsuccess. When you do that, you actually have access to these shows a week before anybody else. Also, you can go to the website to check out the paid coaching options that are available. If you have any questions you want answered on one of these shows, you can write to me by clicking on the contact tab at that website. And hey, by the way, if you're interested in getting a jump on your dating education, my previous show which was called the Stop Losing Women Podcast, where I did 400 shows, all 400 plus of those shows are now available on a subscription-based service. You can pay a monthly fee or a one-time fee to get access to those shows. But if you really want to figure out how to jump ahead of the other competition you'll have in this dating game, you can listen to those shows. It's over 145 hours of content, so you are bound to learn something. I interview experts, I interview women, and I just give out some solid advice based on my own dating life that has helped me immensely. So you can check that out and get previews of some of those shows at the website as well. Okay, enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into today's message, because like I said, this is something that I feel like is going to really help you guys that are starting to do some things right, but can also feel yourself having a tug of war between doing the new stuff that's unfamiliar and feels weird but is working, and sliding back into the old stuff which didn't work as well, but it was comfortable for you to do and can be very, very easy to start doing again, and thus ruining your dating life. So here's the situation. He says, met this chick on Tinder and we've hit it off great. Conversations, hangout sessions, and physical intimacy are great. I'd give her a solid 8 on the 1 to 10 realistic scale. I'm starting to catch myself always thinking about her and wanting to spend more and more time with her. In fact, the thought of her seeing or being with other guys is starting to make me feel a certain type of way. In parentheses, he says, I don't care what she does. I just don't want to know about it kind of feeling. Continuing on, I've had the I'm the prize mentality since we started seeing each other, and it's worked out great. She has been chasing me, double texting me, meaning when I don't respond, she responds back, she sends another text, and wanting to hang out a lot. But I feel myself starting to slip. I'm wanting and making myself always available to hang out, texting back relatively quickly, initiating hangouts, etc. The more this goes on, I start to accept that having her as a girlfriend wouldn't be such a bad idea. Please give me advice on what I need to do. I need a little more motivation to snap out of lovey-dovey clouded mindset that I'm starting to get overcome by. I know this sounds pretty lame, but I just swallowed the red pill and am trying to detox from the blue pill lifestyle. For those of you that are not familiar with that term, the red pill, blue pill thing was first introduced in the Matrix, and it's this idea of living the blue pill lifestyle is living reality in the moment right now that doesn't work out for you and you don't know why. And then the red pill is basically getting the right information, realizing how the world actually works for better or for worse, and then figuring out how to adjust to what actually works in real life. So it's a big philosophy now in the dating community, this whole red pill, blue pill thing. So just for those of you that are new to that, that's what that means. But anyway, so like I said, this guy is going through a very familiar situation, because I know me, myself, back in the day, like in my early 20s, when I started figuring out this whole dating thing, where I started really like studying up on things that actually worked, figuring out why certain things that I didn't work so well, that once I started to learn these new things, I was able to test things out bit by bit to see if they worked. And lo and behold, they would. But it's that whole thing of like, if you're not comfortable doing something, it can feel awkward. It can feel like you're being fake. It can feel like it's not the real you. And it's very easy to then go from trying this new stuff, which is working, but feels fake, to going back to what you consider at the time to be the real you. For those of you watching the video or not watching the video, I'm doing quotation marks, the real you in quotation marks, because in my opinion, the real you is solely based on the knowledge and information that you learn, that from that knowledge and information, you're able to decide how you want to live your life or how to do things. And so if you were unknowledgeable about what things actually work in the dating world, then the real version of you is the version of you that has learned all this false information and is acting accordingly. So it can be a real butt of heads for your emotional state when you start learning these things that do work, but this whole time you've been used to doing these other things that they don't work, but there's a party that's like still hoping that it will work or that these things could work out the way that you want them to if you do them, even though they never will. So there can be a clash with that. So let's go back over this guy's message real quick. So there's nothing inherently wrong with catching feelings for a woman, because ideally, if you're going out there and you're meeting a woman and you guys click and you're, have good physical intimacy and stuff like that, by default, you're going to catch feelings. So it's not an issue of catching feelings. The issue is that oftentimes guys, believe it or not, we actually catch feelings faster than women do. And we typically are like ready to make moves a lot faster than they are. So where we mess up is we want to start giving and doing all these moves to try to get women, whether it's trying to hang out with her all the time, whether it's trying to constantly try to tell her how we feel about her, whether it's trying to buy her a bunch of stuff. And by the way, all this stuff that I'm mentioning and more stuff that I'm not is I talk about in my book, No Girls for You, the ultimate guide to losing your girl of your dreams. It's literally like 12 or 13 chapters of these are the things in the past that I felt I needed to do. And then these are the reasons why none of those things actually work and why they turn women off. And so this guy has already started studying the fact that he knows that activities he did before are likely to turn her off. So in the beginning, it's very, very easy to not do those things, especially when you come across a girl that you really, really like. Like, I'll be honest, it's going to be a lot easier to learn how to do the right stuff and then do those right things with girls that you're just kind of okay with, like 6s and 7s, girls that are just like, they're showing you attention and you're like, well, they're around, so I'll date them. Why not? Those girls are very easy to do these things on, in part because with those girls, you're indifferent, meaning you don't really care what the outcome is one way or other. If it doesn't work out, well, it is what it is. You got a little bit of physical hookups and some dates out of it and it was cool. And if it does work out, well, it's okay, but you know that you can always get somebody else if you get tired. So it's easier to do the new stuff with girls that you're just kind of whatever. But when you come across that girl, you're going to come across that woman that's like the end all be all. She's checked everything off on your list that you wanted a woman. She's hot. She's giving you sex all times as part of the day. Those are the ones where you're going to your brain's going to start to trick you. And you're going to be like, oh, well, you know what? This is going so great. And she's not like the other girls. Lie. She's not like the other girls. So you know what? I'll just let go of some of the things I was learning because I don't need to do those things because she's a real one. She's genuine. And it's your brain tricking you because you like this girl so much that you're hoping that you can go back to your old simp ways and she's going to still stick around. So you might have been cool the first 2 months where you're only seeing her once or twice a week and you're able to like text her back whenever and it was working and you're letting her do most of the text and say, hey, we should hang out sometime or whatever. But after that 2 months, you're just like, man, you start thinking about her all the time and you start wanting to see her more than you need to. And next thing you know, you're trying to set up dates with her day in and day out. You're trying to accept everything she sends to you in terms of dates. You're constantly responding back to her. You're trying to over-text her now. You're trying to hang out with her every moment of the day. And then you start to notice that she starts to back off a little bit. Why? Because now, instead of being that laid-back, cool guy that she had to chase after, now you're chasing. And when guys chase, we tend to overdo chasing, to the point where we overwhelm the women that we were trying to attract, which can make them want to fall back. And so you need to be very mindful of this is the thing that is going to happen. It's not a maybe. If you find a girl that you legitimately like, there's going to be a high chance that if you are not aware of what you're doing, you are going to chase her away by being too intense and by doing the wrong things. And so this guy is noticing that. But like I said, you can know that something's happening. Think about people that are overweight and they need to go on a diet. So like, okay, I need to go on a diet. I need to not do this thing. I need to not eat these things over here because I'm going to gain weight. But then what happens? They get stressed. They work out. They're eating the right stuff. They lose like, say, 15, 20 pounds. And then they're like, oh, I lost 15, 20 pounds. I guess it wouldn't hurt to eat a chip. It's not going to hurt to eat a French fry. I can drink a big old milkshake and it's not going to hurt. It's only one or two. And then they start letting one thing after another come in. And next thing you know, they've gained back the 15, 20 pounds and all the progress that they made is gone. So the same thing is true with dating. You can be doing all the right stuff and have the girl in your grasp. And then you start, sending her those good morning texts again. You start responding back to every single thing that she sends you. She starts planning last minute dates and you're able to accept all of them because you're like, well, I mean, she doesn't care if she wants to see me and I care about her. She doesn't care if I'm busy or not. I don't have to try to fake like I'm busy. I can see her right now when I want to. It doesn't matter. And all of those things matter. But you don't think it does because she hasn't shown that it matters because you haven't been doing them. But once you start doing them, she's going to start showing you that these things actually do have an effect on her attraction to you. Okay. So it's going to be really, really hard. If you're new at learning to do the right things, I assure you, it's going to be a hard struggle for you to not want to pick up that phone, to send that extra text, or when you have a free day it's going to be hard to not hit her up and say, hey, we can hang out today and tomorrow and the day after. Like those are going to be very, very hard to do, but understand the short-term fulfillment that you get from getting what you want isn't going to help you long term, because in the short term, yeah, you get to see her every day, but the long term is she's going to get tired of you and go away because you are spending too much time with her. So if you know the things that you're supposed to do, just have faith that you need to keep doing those things, okay? Because as long as you're doing the right things, she's going to keep doing the right things to raise her attraction for you, and it's going to be better for all parties involved in the end. All right. So hopefully that helps you guys out. If you like this advice and it helped you out and you want to show your support, you can go to the website and click on the tip jar tab. Whatever you want to send, I'm just happy that you're listening to the program and want to support. But if you want to become a patron as well, then you can support that way and have access to these shows a week before anybody else. Also, I am available for paid one-on-one phone consultations. So if you're going through a situation whereby you're thinking you need some kind of help and you can't figure out what it is, I am more than happy to help you out. It's at the website as well. That's all I got for today's show. For more of these shows, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. You can find us on iTunes, leave a 5-star rating. You can go to YouTube and subscribe. And instead, you can become a thing on Patreon. Also, if you want to get a jump on your education, I highly recommend checking out previews of my previous podcasts, the Stop Losing Women podcast, which you can get on a month-to-month basis or as a one-time fee, but you'll get access to over 400 shows. 145 hours of content that is going to be assured in helping you figure out this dating thing and ultimately help you land and keep the woman of your dreams. As always, if you have any questions you want answered on this show, you can write to me by going to the website, clicking on the contact tab, and be sure to go to the website to check out previews of my eBooks. I got an ebook on how to text women, how to get your ex back, what not to do when you're trying to date, and I got a free video training there that'll teach you the ins and outs of the kinds of messages you need to be sending to women on dating apps that will actually get them to respond to you and raise their attraction level. So be sure to check all that out at introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm HarryWilmington, and I will catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.